Alright, at the time of this video, the PC version of Sonic Mania is not out yet since it was unfortunately pushed back to August 29th. And since I know a couple of you guys are waiting feverishly for it without trying to spoil anything for yourselves, I thank you for watching the video, I really do. But stop watching because this is about my personal experiences and all that, and I spoil shit as a result. Granted, a classic style Sonic game doesn't have much to spoil in story and lore, but still, I don't want to rob you guys of those magical moments you'll experience going in blind, and they will happen. For those really looking forward to this game, I guess I'll catch you back here on the 29th if you want to watch the video then and there. For everyone else, welcome aboard! Let's get this train ride started. And I'm not wearing my hat because it's dead middle of the night, in the middle of summer, I fucking hate it, I sweat like a mad dog, and I don't want my hat getting stained. It's gross, but that's... At last, Sonic Mania has arrived. As far as platformers went, there was nothing else I was looking forward to as much as this for plenty of reasons besides being what I considered a true follow-up to some of my favorite games of all time on the Genesis. I went into it a bit when I made that reaction video last year, but just to quickly bring it up again, my faith was very strong in this one. First up, Christian Whitehead, the man who took Sonic CD and remade it with widescreen support, design fixes, and made me appreciate it on a level I didn't think I would ever give it. Then he went and did the same thing with Sonic 1 and 2, widescreen support, having the ability to play as Tails and Knuckles for both games, elemental shields, re-implementing Hidden Palace Zone in Sonic 2, Mr. Whitehead. When are these magnificent ports coming to consoles? I don't mind playing them on the phone, and they're great for filling the time at a train station or airport, but my computer and consoles weep, and I think it's about time I bought my 23rd copy of Sonic 1, Jesus help me. Then there's Headcanon. Now, I don't know much about the whole development team to be honest, but I did know Simon Tomley, and if it turns out he's actually the whole team, then I'm gonna really sound like a dumbass right about now. This was the guy I talked about when I looked at the Sonic Classic Collection years ago, the man that proved that Sonic 1 could indeed be ported to the Game Boy Advance if Sega actually cared over a decade ago, and not give us this shameful half-assed excuse of a port. Pagoda West Games was the only one I knew next to nothing about, so I had to do some of that fancy research and... yep, never played any of these. But I might look to fix that in the future, but they still jumped on board for this game and helped with art assets, level design, and audio, more specifically, T. Lopes. Now this sexy beast had already composed some music for Pagoda West Games, and was chosen to help create the soundtrack for Sonic Mania. If you haven't already, please check out his YouTube channel and listen to his stuff. His work is fantastic. And he is the one who composed my new intro song, you know, in case you can't read the credits. Altogether, we had a collective team of developers and designers who grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog and throughout years of fan hacks and community projects, knew the inner machinations of making a Sonic game by fans, for fans, by the Mania, for the Mania, as they say, which doesn't make any sense to me, I'm sorry. It goes without saying that since I've been looking forward to this so much, that there's no way I can talk about it without having the nostalgia goggles on. Sonic Mania looked to be the long-lost Sega Saturn game we never got. Everything was hitting the right spots for me, and I know in time I'm probably gonna have 100 copies of this game too. When the collector's edition went up for pre-orders months ago, I jumped on that shit like a fucking deck collector. This box is gargantuan. I wasn't expecting that, but this statue is fucking awesome. That said, I know there's a couple of you guys wondering if Sonic Mania is just a good platformer in general. You look past the nostalgia and all that, and what does it offer? Let's start from the top. Sonic Mania concerns the lovable blue hedgehog and his two-tailed sidekick Tails returning to Angel Island from Sonic 3 after picking up a strange region that's different from the elusive Chaos Emeralds. But much to their discharging, Dr. Robotnik's goons are already at the scene and take the so-called Phantom Ruby for their possession immediately after digging it up. The Ruby emits a powerful surge of energy that sends Sonic, Tails, and the nearby Knuckles across time and space while transforming these nameless badniks into the hard-boiled heavies, each rocking their own gimmick that Dr. Eggman orders around to give Sonic and company trouble. So in a journey across time and space, at least I believe so because there are some times when Sonic is taken to another place because of the Phantom Ruby and other times not, Sora, Donald, and Goof, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles look to put an end to Robotnik shenanigans once more while traveling through a horde of zones, some new and some old, and yeah, there's a lot more old than new. Out of the 12 zones you play through, 8 of them are for previous games from Sonic 1, 2, 3, and CD. But like say Sonic Generations, Sonic Team's previous anniversary celebration, the revisits are heavily remixed with plenty of familiar layouts, but also have a lot of fresh concepts for that zone in particular. Think of it like putting the classic trilogy and Sonic CD into a blender, and the resulting puree is Sonic Mania. Chemical Plant Zone, for instance, still has the high-speed tubes and speed boosters, but it also has elements of wacky workbench, with all this bouncy goo that rockets you up towards the ceiling. Stardust Speedway is still the colorful visual headache from previously, but now also sports a few nods to Marble Garden Zone from Sonic 3. And it's not just the Genesis games, even the handheld stuff gets referenced in this. It's a good thing I did that handheld marathon when I did. Hydro City Zone now has the bubble gimmick from 8-bit Sonic 2, Metal Sonic can summon Silver Sonic as a minion, and there's a good chance I'll run into Fang the Sniper or Knack the Weasel in Mirage Saloon. Clearly, there was a lot of love put into this, and well, we'll get to that. But those looking for something more original will most definitely be left hanging when Sonic Generations already did this sort of thing, and here we are again with something conceptually similar for Sonic's 25th anniversary, not to mention the existence of Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2, which did almost the exact same thing, only in my opinion with more forgettable level design and a wonky control scheme. It can feel a bit redundant, and I would argue that the nostalgic pandering can even get intrusive in a couple of instances. Take the end of Chemical Plant Zone. The fight against Robotnik has you playing a round of Mean Bean Machine. Never in my life did I think that would ever get a call back, and yeah, I laughed to be sure when I got to this point. But that's still a sudden shift to a completely different gameplay style, and one I'm not really familiar with. I don't play Puyo Puyo, and I imagine this might be a sticking point for others in a similar situation. There's only 4 original zones such as Studiopolis, Press Garden, Mirage Saloon, and Titanic Monarch, but don't worry, they're not only visual marvels, I think they're some of the best stages in the whole game. They not only cleverly incorporate gimmicks from previous games without completely lifting level design pixel by pixel, but they're filled with a lot of unique obstacles that leave an impression without being an imitation. Studiopolis, I mean, I've had to heard the music a million times at this point, but I love the TV studio setting. Mirage Saloon is one of the best desert levels I ever experienced in a platformer, despite some parts of it reminding me of Bubsy for some baffling reason. It doesn't help the motherfucker is coming back. Ugh. Press Garden is the oddball for me. I never thought a newspaper warehouse or stationery in general would be the basis for level aesthetic. And it works, I just find it a little odd. But the launch-based gimmicks make perfect sense, and by Act 2 it becomes the ice level, and oh, it's so beautiful, and the music is exquisite, one of my favorite tracks of the whole soundtrack. And that just leaves Titanic Monarch, the final level, which fits the bill in terms of length. It's one of the longest levels in the game. But don't worry, it's no Eggman Land or anything close, and I really dig how it incorporates the electrical spheres from Sonic 3's bonus stages, and the Metropolis Zone bumpers for some nifty timing obstacles. I didn't find Sonic Mania to be particularly difficult, but that's also because I have so many years of experience with this type of game, so that's a bit unfair to say. But I noticed plenty of rings to grab for extra lives, invincibility monitors to help you through a tight spot, the classic shield is back, in addition to the elemental shields to protect you from certain hazards, and also let Sonic perform additional tricks to help plow through enemies. Tails and Knuckles are back as fully playable characters from the start, and they're just the same as previously with what they can do. I recommend playing as Tails if it's your first time with this sort of thing, since he can fly for a few seconds and easily reach higher areas that are bound to contain more goodies, given how classic Sonic design works with how it rewards you with more stuff if you stick to the higher paths. Like in Sonic 3, Knuckles doesn't quite go through the same motions as Sonic or Tails. In some ways, his adventure is a little more difficult. I feel bad for the man, he's just trying to chill out at his home and he's dragged into this shit again, and later when he's hitching a ride with Sonic and Tails in the tornado, he's just sniped off the damn thing, forcing him to take a different route. But it's scenarios like that makes Knuckles' adventure a bit more unique, so don't expect the same routine every time. As for Sonic, I mean, he's Sonic. You can jump on bad guys, roll into a ball to pick up speed and plow through blocks, and spin dash to zip through shit. In this game, he's got this new drop dash skill. It basically lets you charge a spin dash in midair so that you can take off the moment you land. I didn't find myself using it much in the main campaign, but in time attack mode, I found better use for it. It is more of a speedrunning tool, and it is fun to chain a bunch together to keep the momentum going. You don't have the insta shield by default, one of my favorite abilities from Sonic 3, but you can unlock it as well as the super peel out from Sonic CD by collecting these medals you get by completing bonus stages you can enter by passing a checkpoint with a certain amount of rings. It's Blue Sphere from Sonic 3, and my pants sure as shit tightened a bit, but it is a little disappointing that these are the only bonus stages checkpoints offer when Sonic 3 had the casino slots, the electrical orbs, and the gumball machine. They can also go on a little long if you're trying to grab every blue sphere and ring inside. Now you unlock more features when you do so there's incentive, but it can make stages drag a bit if you're trying to go for absolutely everything. Though being fair here, sometimes I end up taking a longer than normal time in some levels anyway, because this is classic Sonic we're talking about here, and I love going fast, make no mistake. But I also love to explore, and Sonic Mania rewards your curiosity in spades, whether it's the items I already mentioned, or perhaps the returning giant rings that lead you to special stages that can help you nab a Chaos Emerald. These special stages are great, just the right amount of difficulty with an interesting stipulation. You gotta chase this UFO until you get close enough to grab the emerald. You have a time limit that you can extend by collecting rings, very much like Knuckles Chaotix, another game I didn't expect them to reference, and you can increase your speed by collecting blue spheres. The thing is, once you collect enough blue spheres, you go faster, yes, but you're much harder to control, so more often than not, you gotta think. Do you prioritize time, or do you go for broke and grab all those spheres now and try and get the UFO in one lap?
The choices are yours, and yours alone!
Is Sonic Mania just a good platformer in general to sink your teeth in? Yeah, I think so. I mean, Sonic and company are definitely faster than your average Mario, so if anything, I think that would be the trickiest thing to overcome. To harness that raw momentum-based speed and use that to your advantage, but I find Sonic Mania's level design to be largely forgiven, and not oversaturated with instant kill obstacles like crushing blocks or punishing bottomless pits that make you overly tense. Sonic Mania is a comfortable, fast-paced adventure that'll last you about 4 hours your first time that I think any fan of this genre can enjoy. The problem is, if you're not already a Sonic fan, you miss out on all the callbacks and references which Sonic Mania is bursting with. It's ridiculous. I mean, if this is your first Sonic game, then by God, I hope you have a great time, and I hope you go back to see what inspired this game in the first place, but a lot of things you see and experience won't have the same level of impact to longtime fans of the series. Sonic Mania is a nostalgia-filled love letter to old fans, but can be a tad alienating and maybe even slightly confusing to newcomers as far as visual appeal goes. That said, seeing as I am a longtime fan, Jesus Christ, this game looks incredible. The color palette is so rich, there are so many more frames of animation. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles all look so great. Oh, it's great to see them like this again. Where's my Saturn release? I'll buy 20. And the music, my man, holy shit, this soundtrack is like my next cup of coffee laced with cocaine. All of the remixes of the old zones are top notch, and the music for the new zones are so fucking good. Press Garden Act 2, god damn, I love this stage. It's so serene, and the music, the controls are perfect. Not a Sonic 4 stop and go bullshit. I roll down hills and loops, and I go faster and faster, and there's actual fucking flow to my movements. Blue Sphere, oh, it's good seeing this come back. We got layouts returning from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but we got some brand new layouts. I fucking missed the perfect again for the 5th time, but I got plenty more chances to get those medals. And the medals! Oh, I can unlock a sound test and listen to these songs like in Sonic CD, and debug mode is back. I can make stupid shit with rings and end stages early because fuck Puyo Puyo. Knuckles and Knuckles. One's a beatnik, one's a Rastafarian. Is that the Death Egg robot in Green Hill Zone? There is no god. Holy shit, but look, it's me who's riding the Eggomatic. Eat shit, Robotnik. I can use a flame shield in Oil Ocean. Oh my god, I can set the oil on fire. I've always wondered what would happen if you threw a match into this place since my old Sonic 2 review, and they answered that. They actually fucking answered that. I am the god of hellfire. Supersonic. Yeah, I can comfortably grab all the emeralds and abuse this son of a bitch just like before, and I also don't have to worry about hearing the invincibility theme loop every 5 goddamn seconds. Seriously, that shit was the worst. Just don't transform near a spinning drum. Knuckles, what the fuck are you doing? Tails, you too. Is this a fucking trend? And where's your
flicky army of death?
Sonic, cut that shit out. Yeah, I ran into a few collision issues here and there, but it rarely affected my total experience, and maybe that too was a callback to Sonic CD on the Sega CD. Jesus, this game is a textbook example of nostalgic pandering, but I don't fucking care. Sonic Mania is amazing. You should go fucking buy it. Show Sega where the money is, and hopefully this leads to more original shit. It's like Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. I love that game. Just like how I love Sonic Mania. In fact, what are you waiting for? Go fucking buy. I'll see you in Kingdom Hearts. Go buy. Don't fucking... Damn, this is so good!